To the Batmobile.
What is going on, my Doe brothers and my Doe sisters? Welcome to Jets and Fleet Gaming. I'm Jerry the Tree Wiz, and today we are joined by the Doe Overlord himself. We have Jairo Nieto, the game's creator. How is it going, my friend?
Hey, what's up, man? It's going great. It's we're just a few days away from Christmas. We're also going on a well-deserved break. The team has been working so hard to create this awesome game, and we're gonna take a few days off just to to recharge our batteries and come back full cylinders on 2021.
Nice. Well, you deserve it. As a command dad yourself, you need to take some time to stay fully recharged. Well, for me, this is my favorite game, and I want to ask you, what inspired you to create this game?
Well, it's I've always been of the maxim, the writer's maxim of write what you know, and so as a game designer, I also believe design what you play, and I'm a huge immense fan of the RTS genre. I played too many hours of I played too many hours of StarCraft, of Warcraft, of Age of Empires, like all those games that I played through college. And it's always been a dream of mine to create sort of a love letter to that genre, and to create a game that had the best that genre could bring. And World War Though is that we were really inspired by by those games, by the Blizzard games, the experience, like the mechanics that were there, we just loved. And as a studio, we've I guess it's because, not saying that Latin Americans have the ownership of humor, but humor is definitely ingrained in our everyday life. I think it gets us through. Like
Absolutely.
sarcasm and humor and all that, like gets us through the craziness and all the naughty things that happen down here. So we also we I think we're really good at humor, and that's something that you should never say. I always tell my team, never say you're funny, because that's the least funny thing you can do. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I think our game hit the right notes on the side of humor, and that was intentional because we really wanted to set ourselves apart from what was out there, in the genre, by being a little bit funnier, a little bit riskier, even a little bit less family friendly. And
Which we need that right now. It's great to have a real-time strategy game that is more targeted towards what feels like me. And you hit it when you said StarCraft. That was one of the first games that really just blew my mind. And it's interesting to think of this as an evolution of StarCraft, but it really does feel like you get all the epicness of this giant battle condensed into this time frame that fits our lives. So it's really cool to hear that that's where it's come from, because I actually never thought of StarCraft as the beginnings of this, but I guess it kind of is. Really cool to know. Also, the story and lore is brilliant. The universe works perfect with the art style and the gameplay. Do you have any plans to continue to add to the Planet Doe universe as far as the story's going?
Well, we're always working on expanding the story. We Again, I'm also a firm believer that if you have strong foundations for this, that you need to have strong foundations for the story even before you make it big, because people can see through that if if you're sort of improvising down the road. If everything gets retconned and the characters suddenly gain these personalities that they actually never had, like, it feels fake. And so we've ever since we started this project 4 years ago, we've been building on the world of like the story world that supports this whole planet Doe and its inhabitants. And yes, the idea is to to keep understanding why and where is this war going.
I ask that question because I am just genuinely curious. The story, I love it. And I was hesitant when I first downloaded the game. Just whenever you get into a new real-time strategy, it's a commitment. And I've never had one with a storyline. Actually, interested me. I mean, I'm genuinely interested to see where it goes, to see how things connect. So that's really exciting for me. Also, when you mentioned how funny it is, I will back you up. You guys are hilarious. I wonder if you've hired people to write the jokes on things like the Drillotron X, the Drillotron IX being the previous model. I have so many little things I notice where I still laugh every time I open the app, even though I've scoured through most of the game. But the one thing I'm curious about is the skin power implementation has really gone over remarkably smooth. And was adding the powers to skins always an idea you had waiting in the wings, or was it a genius afterthought?
No, it was an idea that we always had from the get go. Um, but we didn't have any of the powers designed, and so as you know, it's definitely an easier implementation if you do it early because you already know it's easier to like understand all the interactions in and
Mm-hmm.
test them out because you have less units and then you have like less avenues to mess up. But it was something that we always wanted to do, but we never felt that the game was especially I would say like from the gameplay side, not the technology, but the mechanics and the dynamics of the game. We still felt that it needed a little bit more, it needed a little bit more complexity from certain units, etc. And once we were comfortable with that, we decided it was time to pull the trigger on the on the skin powers. That well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we got a product manager that joined the team. I think March, who's absolutely fantastic. His name is Chase Shi, and he came in with like he was like, guys, skin powers, and we sort of had this same conversation with him, and I told him, yeah, dude, that's something that we've always wanted to do, and he was instrumental in helping us set it up and because there's one thing is for the skin powers to work smoothly within the battle, that I think we could handle, but he also helped us like integrate it well with the rest of the game, right? Like how do you level them up, like how everything works. So yeah, kudos to him. It actually ended up happening because he pulled the trigger on that, and I was happy to oblige.
And it works. It really does. It works really good. I was honestly nervous just because it's such a big change. I could tell it was probably something you guys always had planned, but just to try to, move everybody's skins around, job well done. I'm
Thank
couldn't
you.
be happier with it. I love the skin powers. I'm rocking Command Dad right now. The future, the future seems bright. And I could see this becoming an esport. In my opinion, it's the most compelling game to watch real pros play. I spend so much time watching the pros play this game. Is esports something that's on your mind or ever a possibility?
So I actually watched your cast of the tournament the other day, and I definitely have to agree. We so I think esports is a hard thing to sort of embed into a game because if someone tells you that they're going to make an esports game, you should be wary of, of investing a lot of time into that because esports is something that I think it emerges. It's not
Mm.
architected, but it does have certain elements that you need to or certain ingredients that need to happen. And I think that's where we sort of overlap with the esports aspect because we did set out to make a game that was very watchable. I still remember when I was writing like the first versions of the design document, like at a very high level. I wanted the battles to be almost like watching a little mini movie.
It
Like
is.
the,
It's
the
like
guys get
sports.
decapitated, and then yeah, exactly. It's like watching a little mini battle, and I think that of course is like one of those main ingredients that transitions very well into esports. Um, and I think slowly but surely we've been coming closer and closer to that avenue. Uh, but I have the highest respect for esports and the esports community because I personally like my personal dream before going into game design was actually being a pro player.
Oh,
But
nice. That's so
as
cool to
you
hear.
as you might tell from my my game references and my age,
Yeah.
that ship has sailed. Um, but I do follow the esports scene for some games uh, religiously, and I have the utmost respect for the players and the audience, and I think that getting there to that point of esports is really a game really needs to have paid its dues in many different areas. Uh, I would love to see us get there, but we still have some work to do.
I liked how you mentioned though that it's just something that emerges. That tournament that you mentioned was the Gaggio tournament, which was awesome to just see how these natural tournaments are popping up, and I almost get more enjoyment watching the pros play sometimes even than playing myself. So the more opportunities I can get to watch people play in these settings where there's rules, and that's another thing too that's really great is the ability to with banning cards. It's going to be in this new tournament. There's just a whole lot of possibilities where you can go with it. But I'm also I'm curious to see the madness of a 2v2 match. I know that would probably be crazy to have to do on your end. Is that something that would ever be a possibility or curiosity?
Yes, actually, this all ties in. Everything ties in because again, it also sort of goes back to the esports and paying your dues, and I think that for 2v2, just like skin powers, is something that has been on our roadmap from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But you really need very very stable and strong tech to do it well, or else you're just yeah, you're just signing yourself up for disaster.
Yep, that makes
And
sense.
so yeah, and so I think we're going to be walking in the next few months down the tech path mainly, um, to pave the way for what could be the future of the game.
The future of
Uh,
the game seems so bright. It's crazy all the things on the horizon. It's like I'm not impatient, I'm just excited, and it's crazy that the number one complaint that I hear from the community is just that we need more players because the game is so much better than any of its competition out there. And some people just feel the community is growing slower than a game of this magnitude should because the game is just unbelievable. I so many people when they get into it go, "How is this game not so massive? Is there any plans to help the community grow in the future?"
yeah, I think there's I think I honestly do think that we are the best game in the genre. I'll take the Pepsi challenge on that anytime.
Amen.
But I also think that we still need to get more stability on the tech side for this game to become massive. Um, we're working towards that. We're really working toward that. We have an extremely talented developer team, extremely talented developer team that has been so busy developing features and so busy developing all this amazing content that has taken us to this point where you just mentioned, like, how is this game not more massive? That we now need to sort of, okay, we know we have an amazing game. Let's make sure that it's the technology that's supporting it is flawless, and we're going. That's the direction that we're going to be going in the next few months.
You're
We're going to
right.
be
It
working
does
really
all
hard
tie
on the tech.
together.
Yeah.
Because you're right. The tech side does have to be totally put together because it is so frustrating when something doesn't work when it's supposed to work. And there's so much. This game has so much more mechanics in its competitions. I'm sure it's a lot more work. My next question was going to be, what's the most difficult part about creating a game like this, and what's the most enjoyable? But you kind of were spelling that out as well.
I think honestly, I think the hardest part of making a game is everything. Honestly, it's
Hmm.
so hard.
Hmm.
Making games is super super hard. I was seeing the whole. It's crazy because I was seeing like the whole debacle right now about Cyberpunk. And people going like, and I just feel for the devs, man, because I know how hard it is, and I know no one ever on purpose tries to deliver something buggy or something half baked, or but once you have these big complex games, and I would say our game for a mobile game is big and complex. You have all these interactions, and it starts requiring a lot of work, and it's and that's why sometimes you need to like take a step back and work a lot on the tech, and maybe take your gas off your foot off the pedal from like the feature development, just because you want the tech to be so strong, right?
Yep, I notice you guys always doing things behind the scenes too. Little glitches that were there just sometimes just disappear out of nowhere. But it's interesting where you say the most difficult part about creating a game is the whole thing. And Cyberpunk is a good example because the community can turn on something if the tech isn't right. So it's good to hear. If the tech isn't right, it'll never be an esport. So once again, it all does kind
Exactly.
of tie
And
together.
yeah, and we'll never have 2v2, for example, right?
Yep.
And of course that's what we're aiming for, like creating this very very robust tech that allows us to go beyond what the game currently does, which we're very happy with. But you need to stay also one step ahead of the competition, and a lot of games in the genre already have 2v2. Our 2v2, of course, like the plans we have for it are very World War II. We call it prison
All
rules
right.
for now internally, but we need to get there to the tech. One part that I didn't answer is like, what is my favorite part of working in this? Um, I would say that like nothing beats the good times with the dev team. Like hardship creates really close relationships. That's why people that are like war buddies are friends for life. I feel that what we've gone through with the dev team, with all the effort and the beautiful stuff that we've created, um, has created some very memorable moments and some like very enjoyable moments with the dev team. I wouldn't change that for the world. And watching watching the videos of the creators would be up there with that too. Like for me, seeing you guys react to the balance changes, and just like I did, when I was like going to the forums and the BattleNet and going like, "Oh my God, the Zealot can now kill Zerglings in 2 hits." Oh my God, that is probably one of the best feelings in the world.
I absolutely love to find out that you are such a gamer yourself. That is just awesome to know that. It's just cool to see that you've been on both. It must be so cool to be on your side now of making the balance changes and all that. But back to competition, I know that clubs are awesome and we love competing for trophies. Is there anything in the future that might give clubs more of an opportunity to compete against one another?
We're definitely looking into a feature that will allow clubs to compete against each other. We're working on like two avenues on that. One is sort of like a, let's call it like a PvE feature, right?
Oh, cool. Cool. What?
and
Very
the
cool.
other and the other, which is still a
Hmm.
little bit more, which is still a little bit more unclear, is how do we spice up the leaderboard? Let's say the tournament aspect of clubs, right? Is there a way for us to spice it up? Is there? We're actually looking a lot into what the community does, because what you guys do is probably what you guys do enjoy, right? And
Yep.
and how you guys are starting to set up these tournaments, and how you guys are like drafting, which of course, again, I love I think the draft part of a strategy game is half of the strategy game itself, and that's why on esports you have like these very very sought after captains that are like average, at execution and skill level, but are like masterminds during the draft, and they literally win tournaments off the draft. So we're looking into all this and seeing how we can bring it in, and for the clubs aspect, trying to understand what is the best way to keep clubs competitive.
Awesome. Yeah, it feels great right now, and for just personally, there's no rush for any sort of club wars or anything. I mean, it will be nice at some point, but yeah, right now, just that was just a curiosity. Another simple curiosity I've got. What cards are currently your favorite right now?
Dude, I play my gun. I play my gun all the time. I know the pros call him trash and whatever, but I make him work, dude.
Are you
I
who are
love
you
that
on
gun.
ladder? Are you in the game at all, or you just play the
I
commander
am
bot?
I am in the game. I am in the game, of course.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
gosh.
can't. I I can't play as much as I would want to, because if I could play this game, I would play it 8 hours a day. But sadly, I have to work making the game.
You're Elmas
So
noob, aren't you? We finally figured it
sorry.
out. I said you're probably Elmas noob. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, I'm not.
Level
I'm
13,
not Element
maxed
Noob.
out.
No, 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 no. But I do play the game.
I'm
I'm there.
so
I see you
curious
guys.
now. All right.
One limitation that I do have is that I have to erase my account from time to time. Because I need to test certain stuff on live. You know, just as if I was a new player.
Mhm.
Whenever we make like a change on the onboarding or the early experience, and I want to test it on live. So whenever I've been up high in the ladder, I've had to start over from scratch. I've never been top 50. We actually have some of our devs are like top 10. Um, Cora, for example, that I know
Oh yeah.
you guys know Cora.
She's so
She's really high up.
great.
She's. I used to be able to. I won't say beat her, but I used to be able to like give her a run for her money, because we used to test the game, internally a lot, do a lot of play sessions with her. Um, Nowadays, she just destroys me.
She's so
Um,
knowledgeable. She's so great. She's just great.
she's fantastic.
Yeah,
She's
she's
awesome.
just great. Absolutely. Um, is it difficult? You mentioned risks earlier. You guys do take risks, and you introduce cards that are just so much different from any other game like this in the same genre. Is it difficult to keep a game fun, fresh, but also balanced?
It is. Um, it is difficult. We actually look at the and I'm pretty sure this changes from designer to designer and company to company, and what I do might be uh, you know uh, absolutely terrible, but I always look at it from the fun side first. Um, I have a designer friend that once tell me, get off the fun bus. Well, I was telling him like one of the units that I had in mind. I was like, you need to get off the fun bus for a while. Uh, but so I write the fun bus, and then I work backwards and figure out if that actually contributes to the gameplay. That's one thing, because you do want the mechanics, you want it to be fun. You also want it to contribute to the gameplay. You don't want a repeat of something that's already like been done before, even if it's a simple unit. You can have simple unit, for example, Piranha and Buck are simple units, but they have different roles. They contribute
Absolutely.
differently to gameplay. Same with the Caveman, for example. The Caveman is very basic unit. He's melee, just like a Piranha, but his contribution, because of his cost and his health and his
Yep.
damage and his attack speed, movement speed, etc., his contribution is very specific. And then of course, like you complete the triad with the balancing side. But I usually worry about that last, because for me I would have a very hard time creatively, if I was looking to the game through the lens of balance first.
That's
That
awesome.
that said, balance is paramount, of course, because that's what makes the game fun in the end, or at least fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's not an afterthought at all. But it is. It serves the function of fun and the mechanics.
And what I like about, I'm glad you look at it from that perspective, because for me, when I play a game like this, of course, I love the competition, I love the humor, all of it. But where I really have a good time is I try to find a sort of identity in my gameplay, where I like to, like you said, you're using Van Gunn, even though people say, "Oh, he's trash." I'm using the Command Dad skin because it's, and I was gonna level up the Command Dracula because that's what I was doing, but I just want to use the one nobody's using because no one's using it, and find a way to do
Yeah.
it that no one else is doing. And because we're not looking at balance first, it gives opportunities to have creative gameplay, and a match is never over. In other games, you can call it from the beginning, but in this, people can come back from what seems like a seemingly impossible loss and turn it around into a victory. My next question was going to be that the game's obviously headed for greatness. And I was going to ask what stage you would say the game is, just getting warmed up, on its way, or fully developed and ready for war. But from what I'm gathering, it's kind of all three because it's ready to go, it's on its way, and it's just getting warmed up. So this has been a really exciting interview for me. Is there anything exciting you can tell us that we might not already know?
Um, I- it's if you guys knew what we're doing in tech, you would be really excited. But but it's hard to convey it as as an exciting point. But we're working. Our dev team. I was seeing some prototypes of some tech that the dev team is working on last week, and I was like, wow.
That's exciting enough. Your excitement is
Wow.
excitement.
Yeah, I was
So
like, wow. Our guys are so smart. Uh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
it's
pumped.
great.
Yeah, you got
I
that.
think,
That was it. You
yeah,
answered
it's.
it.
I think like and of course we also follow a lot of the discussion that you know what I think this is exciting. I think this is guys. We know that I think like a community we all agree and we count ourselves as part of the community too that the game is in a really good state right now. But there is but maybe what's holding us back right now is getting it to the level of polish where it can like self-sustain pretty much, and we're working towards that. We're in bug hunting, bug wiping, bug killing mode. We're reinforcing our basic tech. Like everything's looking is we're, our next few months are just going to make the game very
Awesome.
robust.
Awesome. 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 Well, it's an honor to be here alongside so many other new and amazing creators. And I'm so grateful to you and the entire dev team for the opportunity. Thanks for creating such an amazing space. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the other creator community who I'm sure is also so thankful for you and the team as well?
Well, I watch like every time a new creator comes up on YouTube, I watch him and I follow all the Instagram accounts and everything you guys do because I'm a fan. I'm that would be my message to you more than the designer. I'm a fan of your content, guys. I love watching it. Not just because it speaks to my game, but it's actually fun. You guys do an amazing job when your crossovers, the analysis. Like I spend a lot of time before I go to bed, usually watching the content. And my wife already knows all of you guys.
Well, I mean, it's actually amazing because I know this game is going somewhere, and I'm sure none of us started because we knew it was going somewhere. We started just because we wanted to make content about the game, but I have a feeling it's really just going to be something that we continue to build on in the future, and these relationships are going to be relationships that stick around. I'm just going to fanboy out for a second. This was one of the coolest things getting to do. This is just awesome. This is my favorite game I've ever played, so talking to you right now is just like I said, I'm kind of fanboying out for a little bit. It's like breaking the fourth wall and talking to the commander or something. So thank you so much for being here from the bottom of my heart to the top of my head. I love you and the whole dev team. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Man, we love you too. Thank you so much. I'm
Man.
smiling. You can't see, but I'm a fan too.
All
Thank
right,
you,
man. Thanks so much. Have the best day ever, and we'll see you soon in the arena.
To the Batmobile.